What's up, guys? So, for those of you who don't know, I'm very philosophical in my thinkings, and I'm a very emotional guy, open guy to a lot of things. Um, so, I kind of want to just talk about some beliefs I have in general about stuff. This isn't like some religious video or anything. This is basically who I am. So, as you can see by the title, I know who I am. I am God. I am a creator. I'm not, now before you get ahead of yourselves, I'm not saying I am a God. I'm saying I am God. So with that being said, basically that means I am God, God is me. Now God, in general, can be so many different things. It's not just one of these, one of these, one of these. It's not Hinduism, it's not Buddhism, it's not Christianity and Catholicism, it's not any of those. Judaism, whatever. All of those portray a higher power. Now, with that higher power being said, to me, that higher power is the whole universe. Now, with the whole universe, all that is pure energy. And so many people can't fathom where I'm going to be going with this. They're going to start thinking like, oh my God, he's cuckoo, blah, blah, blah. No. You create everything that happens in your life. Now, a lot of people, again, are going to be saying, no, I don't create that. I don't create mass murderers. I don't create rapists. I don't create all of that in my life, blah, blah, blah. I don't create all this bad stuff that's happened to me, and I'm here to kind of tell you that in a way that you do. Now, I'm not saying that those people that do horrible crimes and stuff, you created. In their own mind, they have taken this ego that takes them away from the consciousness of what is. And what is that we are all basically one. I am you, you are me. I am the universe is me. The universe is God, God is me, I am God. I am energy. That's what God is. It's an energy. Now, let's look at kind of how we're all made up. Alright, so if we take our look inside our bodies, it's all these organs, muscles, tissues, break it down, keep getting deeper. Inside the tissues you have cells. Inside the cells, what makes up that? Different amino acids, different proteins, all this stuff. So when you ask scientists, you're like, alright, well, what's the basic building blocks of everything? Well, atoms. Alright. So, is an atom as far down as you can go? No. So you could basically tell a scientist, like, well, what makes up an atom? He's like, well, nucleus and or you have the nucleus, which has neutrons, protons, electrons. Like, so neutrons, protons, electrons make up everything then. He would have to say, well, yes. They're like, so then that's not as far down as you can go. They're like, well, no. They're like, well, what is the atom with the neutrons, protons, electrons? Well, you have this tiny little hard center where you have your neutrons and protons, and it's surrounded by this gaseous cloud of electrons. So already, we've taken this basic building block that's supposed to be an atom, we've broken it, and now that atom itself is 99.9% space, or energy, because that's what's holding everything together with it. So with that energy, break it down, you're like, oh, okay, so we have this tiny little center. That's the building block then, this tiny little nucleus of neutrons, protons. You can still break that down even more. That's held together by, it's basically just specific charges that hold it together. And inside that nucleus is more space. So you've gone inside the atom, broken that down. Inside the nucleus, broken that down. What is there? Just pure energy. If everything's pure energy, then no one really is different in a way. Even a wall. Look at a wall. Okay. Hit a wall. It's hard. It makes a sound. Now, scientists have also proven that you could go as hard down as you can against something, and no matter what, there's still space for an atom to fit there. With that being said, I'm never actually hitting the wall. If I'm never actually hitting the wall, that means that the electron's actually putting off a charge against my hand and ends up making a sound. But I'm never actually touching the wall. So the fact that I can hit the wall means that I'm actually creating that wall to be solid. When you really get down to all this of what is and how we create everything in our lives, really you can get lost in it. I'm not saying I have. I'm just trying to find all the words that I know and trying to be able to tell it to you guys to let you kind of know more even about who I am and how I live my life. So basically, if we all have this energy that holds us together, the energy itself is what the whole earth is. I mean, you see it all around us. You see it in flowers, bees, lions, different people, different organisms, grass, all this. You see life and consciousness growing. And really, it's hard not to look at it and be like, that's the universe. That's energy. That's God. Nothing is a God, because we are all basically God. We're all functions and different beings of God. If we can actually look at a person and then see them as an example of God, then you're going to start thinking a whole different way. Now, people are going to be like, oh, well, this person looks so much different than I do, and they act so much differently than we do. That comes back to ego. We are all who we make ourselves to be. So if we make ourselves to be some person, we're going to be that person. If we ask, you can say God, or the universe, or just in general, just ask, really, you're going to receive. If you truly believe in something, you're going to receive. Now people are always asking me like, well, I didn't ask for all this stuff, I didn't ask for all these bills, and really, if you're thinking it, even if you say, I don't want bills, you're putting out there bills. Therefore, the universe, God, is listening, and basically, it's like a genie says, you ask and you shall receive. Your wish is my command in a way. Now, needless to say, some of this stuff I'm taking from different movies and different books, like The Secret, What the Bleep Do We Know, 3 Words, just different all stuff. But it goes so much deeper when you actually think about all this, because they kind of touch on different things. But when you start watching things over and over again, you start putting pieces together, and you figure out that it's all a puzzle, that basically everything is one. We are he is we are she is us, it is us, we are it. We are energy, we are the universe. So really, we are all God. Now, I have a better understanding of this right now than I did, well, ever, really. But even like, I don't know, probably 6 months ago or so, I have a friend, not going to say a name, started questioning about stuff like, well, your whole life you've kind of been sacrilegious, they said to me. I was like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, you wear these crosses and stuff, and you don't even go to church. It's like, what's that all about? You're being sacrilegious. I'm like, that doesn't make me sacrilegious. He's like, well, you can't just do that, and, if you start saying that you don't necessarily follow God and you don't believe in God, I was like, I never said that. I was like, I believe that there is God. I believe that there's a higher power. At the time, I didn't understand that I myself am part of this higher power. And I was trying to explain to him, and I was just having trouble finding the words. And he started going off, and like, well, you follow Buddhists and stuff too. That makes you sacrilegious. I was like, no, it doesn't. Buddha was a philosopher. I'm very philosophical in my thinking. So if I want to listen to what Buddha has to say, and I believe in what he says as being true, that's my opinion. And I'm not talking about him being a higher power, even though we are all higher powers. But he couldn't put these things together and be like, well, do you believe in Christ? I was like, yeah. I was like, it's been documented. He was a man. He walked the earth. So, yeah, I believe in him. I believe in all that. But, no, I'm not going to take everything the Bible says to heart. Because, for one, it's been written down by other people and been rewritten and reformulated, whatever, been translated different languages, all that, from the Old Testament to the New Testament. It's like, no, I'm not going to believe every single thing that there is in there. I don't agree with everything in it. It's like, I don't have to believe in what others say. And with that being said, I believe in what I believe. And what I believe is that we are all connected in this universe, and we can bring into our lives whatever we want. So with that being said, even like with Limitless, it started off as an idea. I started putting forth effort into it. I believed in it. First semester, it became the biggest organization on campus at Black Hills State here in Spearfish. Now that's a small scale type thing. But if you start applying this law of attraction to everything that you do with your life, and you start living more positively, and you start bringing love and affection and prosperity, tranquility, just so much different stuff into your life, and you start believing in things more with a more positive, optimistic attitude, and you can see other people as being one from God, as just a different portrayal of their own ego, then you can really see that we are all connected in its own particular way. And I mean, you can even break it down back to kind of the atom type things. Our bodies are made up mostly of water, given. Okay, now, there was a Japanese scientist, can't remember his name, that did an experiment on water that came out of one of the dams over there in Japan. And he did an experiment by writing different things on bottles of water. Now he had your basic water, your constant, that he didn't write anything on. Took a picture of the water molecule. Basically, typical water molecule, what it should look like, kind of. It was still beautiful in a way. And this is from what the bleep we know. And he then wrote on another bottle, he wrote love, and took a picture of that. And then the next one he did, I think it was like the Chinese symbol for chi energy maybe. And then the last one he did all these things like murder, hate, kill. So on the first one, love, and the next one, chi, they both he left him overnight, and he took a picture of him the next day. They both changed the actual molecule shape. Still the same molecule, but they changed the molecule shape into this beautiful crystalline structure. And that's just by writing a word on a bottle. Now, the one that he did like murder, death, kill, all that stuff on, it actually turned the water murkier, and it looked almost dirty, and it was just this muddy, disgusting type looking picture when he had this picture come out of the molecule. So, with that being said, our bodies are made mostly of water. If we put out these different frequencies, which I didn't even touch on yet, the frequencies being thoughts, because every thought has an actual frequency. We can actually measure each thought. So with that being said, if we put out positive frequencies, it's going to give us actual positive results back, or we're going to actually see more positive things. If we start putting off negative frequencies like, oh, I hate my body, which so many people do, especially women are terrible at it. But I mean, I used to be terrible at it too. But if we start putting out all these negative frequencies like, oh, I hate my body, I hate my life, blah, 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 all this stuff is happening to me, we're going to keep getting these bad results. If you look in the mirror and be like, oh, I look fat, you're going to start actually forming those molecules to where your body's going to put that image that you see in your head in the actual mirror. You're going to become more fat, in a way. Now, given, if you start saying like, oh, I'm going to be skinny, but you still eat like McDonald's for every single meal of the day, yeah, you're not going to necessarily be skinny. You have to believe, but also you have to put forth the effort. You have to live it. You have to be it. And once you are it, then it all comes together. So if he wrote words on a bottle, basically, that changed the actual form of the molecule, and our thoughts, basically it was the energy he was putting on the bottle that changed the shape of the bottle, not the bottle, but the contents of inside the bottle. So if our thoughts have that frequency to where it can actually go into the water of our bodies, which is made up of energy itself, then, and it can change it in a positive way, we can start doing so many more amazing things with our lives, with our bodies, with our minds. And people don't understand that. Your mind is the most powerful tool that you will ever have. Your body, yeah, it's an awesome tool. Overall, hands down, an awesome tool. But no matter what you do, if you don't believe in something, it's not going to happen. Even like with my weight loss, I hit 300 pounds when I was 13, 14 years old, and it hit me. And right then and there, I believed I was going to be skinny. Now, it didn't happen overnight. No, it took me probably 3 years till I got down to my lowest weight. But I believed I was going to be skinny no matter what they cost. And I worked my butt off. Just worked it off. And I believed. And, I mean, I learned from the process and everything, but I believed even further than that. I wasn't just going to get skinny. I was going to see a six-pack on my body. I was going to be muscular. Because I never used to be, like, that strong. You can ask anyone from my high school, my coaches, I was just a fat kid. And I had no muscle, really. I couldn't lift a lot of weight. And people can't really realize that when they see me now and I'm, like, lifting a lot better and I actually have muscle in my body. I'm not being cocky or anything. I'm being truthful. Like, I do get a lot of people that come up to me like, oh, dude, you're big, blah, blah, blah. And, like, you know, actually I do really appreciate that in a way. And sometimes I don't necessarily tell people that because I don't want to come off as being cocky or rude or anything with that. But that's basically how I portray myself. And, I mean, if people follow me on Instagram and stuff, they've seen, like, I have pictures of bodybuilders around my apartment with my face on that picture, because that's how I'm portraying myself. I visually see myself as that bodybuilder, and with that visual aid, I'm sending off that frequency to the universe, to the energy, to the God, that that's who I want to be. That's the ego I'm choosing. Needless to say, if we stripped my body down, ripped all my skin off, all my muscles, all the tissues, everything off, I'd be a skeleton. Take the same thing, now this is it might be a kind of a bad example, but take Osama bin Laden. I might get criticism for that. But take him, okay? All this outer layer, this outer ego that he has, do the same thing. Strip off all that ego, strip off his skin, tissue, muscles, everything. What do you have? You have a skeleton. So if you have someone of me, my stature, what I believe in, because I do think I'm a good person, and I do believe in you do unto others as you want done upon yourself, and I do believe in karma and all this and the positivity of things. If you have all this stuff that I believe in, you have all the stuff that he believed in and what he did, you tear us down to our basic building blocks. We're the same thing. So even the huge difference of people and things, we're all still basically one. We're all still it. We're energy. We're God. All that. Now I know this video is long, but it takes I could go on for hours about this stuff and just touch into it. So I just want to kind of get across to you that the power of your mind and the thought that you can do is, you can't even describe it with words. If you can truly touch into your inner self and be able to project that out with good frequencies, you're going to get good results with whatever it is that you want. And really, that can be with anything. I mean, there's people that have had cancer, didn't have any treatment, and with good frequencies, they've been able to basically cure themselves. And if that's not amazing, I don't know what it is. Basically, if you believe something, you can achieve it. Because thoughts become things. So if thoughts become things, that frequency you're giving off, that energy, it can alter your whole inner self. And you can become who you want to be. Whatever ego you want, then as long as you're still in touch with that inner self of what is basically being God, being the universe, being energy itself, if you can still stay in touch with that, but help put that into whatever ego that you want to be, of who you want to be, then you can live life. You can be happy. Like, so many people don't understand that. They just want to go through the motions, and then basically by the time that they get done with it and they start realizing all this stuff, then they can't even do anything anymore because they're too old, they're too run down, they don't know what to do anymore because they don't have any money. They worked their whole life to make money, and all of a sudden they're still working to basically get by, and they can't even retire. If you can just stop and basically look, like that's one reason why I came up to the Black Hills. Nature is all around me. It was harder to see over in Iowa because there's just cornfields and hog manure smell, and the energy wasn't there for me. At least for me. It is for some people, and that's great. But for me, the energy wasn't there. I could actually feel it when I came out here. The difference in energy levels, and with everything coming in, the evergreen smell, everything. Just the huge frequencies that started coming into me. I understood what it was. And I've really been able to find who I am from being out here. And with that being said, basically, I found out that I am God. I am the universe. The universe is me. God is me. We are all God. We are all each other. We are all projections of what God is, just with our own creations of what we want to be, of all these different egos that we want to be. We create that with the thoughts of the frequencies that we send out. And the law of attraction is basically you ask, you believe, you live it, and then you receive it. So if I want to portray myself as a huge scientist, go into science, all that, I could. If I want to portray myself as a huge negative person, an atheist, all that, I could. No matter what, you're still going to be a projection of what God is. Whether you like it or not, we're all an energy source. Everything was run on this ultimate energy source of what is. And what is the universe, God, energy itself. It's just this pure energy form of love and affection, tranquility, prosperity, all this stuff. It's just bundled up into all of what is. So I really hope that this kind of gets in touch with what I'm trying to get across. I know it's been, almost 27 minutes. So for those of you that are still here, if any of you kind of want to talk about stuff, you can either talk to me or message me on here. Find me on Facebook, Dalton Jones. Find me on my Limitless page, Limitless Health and Fitness. On Twitter @YellowJacket67, @LimitlessHF. Instagram @LimitlessHF. And find me in there, ask me questions, talk to me, and I'm open to anything and talking to anyone about any of this. So just remember that we are all projections of what we want to be. We can do anything we set our mind to. I am God.